everybody, and welcome back to the fourth episode of the SenoTalk. Today I have invited Dr. Robert Brückner into the studio, and we are going to continue where Hannah and I have left off in the last episode. We are going to talk about the technology, and this time it's going to be a deep dive. Let's see whether Robert is in the studio yet. Hi Robert, are you there? How are you today?
Hi Valerie, I'm well, thanks. It's great to be in the studio and I'm looking forward to your questions.
I'm very excited about it too. Before we get started with the actual questions, would you maybe like to introduce yourself and say a few words about yourself and your position at Senorics?
Yes, of course. My name is Robert and I'm Senorics CTO and I'm responsible for the technological side of the things. I'm also one of the 4 founders and so I have been part of the journey right from the beginning.
Awesome. Thanks for the little introduction. Let's maybe start with a rather generic question. Can you say a few words about what spectroscopy is and how this technology can be used to conduct distance measurements?
In spectroscopy, we study the absorption and re-emission of light by a certain object. By doing this and additionally applying chemometrics, we are able to identify and quantify the object's material composition. At Senorics, we call this process material sensing. Now, distance measurements are conducted without the spectroscopic sensor actually touching the object it is analyzing. It can take the measurement from a distance. For example, this is the case with our robotic vacuum cleaner prototype. The device can identify different floor materials and stains from a distance. This means that the sensor module that is integrated in the vacuum cleaner doesn't have to touch the floor for this detection to happen.
Thanks for the detailed information, Robert. And to our viewers, I will link you the video for our vacuum prototype in the description of this video, so you can take a look and see for yourself how it works. Let's move on to the next question. I know that at the moment, a lot of our focus lays on the miniaturization of the sensors. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? What is so important about it?
Yes, you're right. That is an important part of our development. The smaller the sensor, the more easily it will fit into a broader range of devices, which means that more applications will be possible. For example, to fit into a smartphone, the sensor needs to be very small as smartphones are usually extremely thin. We have actually made some great improvements in that area recently. We now know how this smaller sensor module will look like, and we know how we can build it too. Now it is just a matter of time before it will become reality.
That is very exciting. I'm looking forward to the day that the sensor is implemented into my smartphone. I hope it won't be too long in the future. Which actually brings me to another question. Can you tell me what the short-term goals are when it comes to our technology?
That would be the launch of SenoCore, which is a sensor module that can be implemented into robotic vacuum cleaners on a large scale. It is also a question of miniaturizing the current OEM module to a more suitable size, but we are making great progress and will reach that goal in the near future.
And what about long-term goals? What is the vision for our technology for the long-term future?
As a startup, we have to be flexible but yet focused in our development and goals. It is easy to determine short-term goals, but long-term goals often have to be adjusted as we move towards them due to the ever-changing market. We have recently acquired new patents that are very promising in regard to further miniaturization, and we have concrete plans to put them into use. I don't want to give too much at this point, but there are certainly things brewing behind the scenes.
That sounds very intriguing. I'm sure our customers and the viewers of the SenoTalk will be quite curious to hear a little bit more about that in the future. I have one last question for you today, Robert. It was recently World Art Days, and a few members of our team drew what they envisioned the SenoCoder to look like in the future. And so a finger ring was drawn and also a smartwatch. Now I'm wondering, what is your personal vision? How do you envision the SenoCoder to look like in the future?
That was really exciting to see. In my opinion, the world will become smarter, and especially consumer devices will become smarter as smartwatches and smartphones. And in that journey, we at Senorics will play a major role.
I agree with you on that. I'm sure that we will. And that was already it for the SenoTalk. Thank you so much for taking the time and chatting to me. It was very interesting.
Thank you for having me and enjoy your day.
Bye, Robert, and thanks to everyone who has watched this 4th episode of the SenoTalk today. Make sure to check the description of the video so you can see further information and links on today's topic. And make sure to subscribe so that you can see when there's a new episode online. I'm looking forward to the 5th episode, and I'm hoping you're going to have a good day. Bye!